The Sony A6300. Does great autofocus really make up for a camera's potential faults? Let's find out. What's up everybody, it's the Everyday Dad and my camera hunt continues. Today we're going to do the unboxing and my initial impressions of my brand new Sony A6300. I'm really excited about this camera. I've heard great things about the Sony line. Apparently all of YouTube loves Sony cameras. So let's see how much I actually like Sony cameras. So I got this camera from Adorama for $928. Now, full disclosure up front, I do not take photos. If I'm taking pictures, it's probably on my iPhone. I use these cameras solely for making videos for this YouTube channel. That's the only thing I use. So if you're into photos, there's a whole bunch of other photo reviews about this. If you're into making videos or YouTube videos specifically, let's talk. For a real quick comparison before we get into it, for the last 6 months on this channel, I've been using a Panasonic Lumix G7 as my primary camera of choice. Almost the entirety of the channel is filmed on that camera, and so I'm looking for a new B camera, but I'm also quite aware that with some of the great things that Sony's been doing, I'm really excited just to try it out as even a main camera. The Sony A6300 is a mid-range mirrorless camera with an APS-C size sensor inside of it, which basically means it's bigger than a Micro Four Thirds like my G7, but smaller than a full frame. It doesn't really matter if you don't know much about cameras. In the box you'll get the manuals and warranty card, the camera itself, a battery, an eyepiece cover, a wall charger and cable, and a neck strap because camera. The camera itself feels amazing. It does not feel like a budget piece of technology. Everything feels solid and definitely high quality. It feels much better than my Panasonic camera. On the top, you'll find the selector dial, the manual control knob, the on-off switch, the shutter button, and a customizable button. Almost everybody uses this to turn it into the record button, and you'll see why in here in just a second. So I purchased the version with the 16-50 kit lens, and honestly I've been pretty impressed overall with its performance so far. On the back you'll find the EVF, which I probably will never use, the button for the flash, and the rest of the buttons for the controls, including another customizable function button. And now we come to the first major downfall. The articulating screen does not go forward. Had you said that prior to me making YouTube videos, I probably wouldn't have seen that as such a big deal. But as a solo creator, being able to frame my shots as easy as possible is a huge deal. I have found a workaround for this using my cell phone as a monitor, using a little clip that plugs into the cold shoe mount on top, but that means I cannot use my cell phone while filming, which severely hampers my ability to do drone videos as it needs a phone or a tablet to work to its utmost potential. So articulating screens, big deal. They're not just for kids taking selfies. They're for adults taking selfies. I think that's the second time I've made that joke. Another pain is the screen isn't a touch screen, it's just a regular screen, which again doesn't sound like a big deal, but being able to tap focus on an object is another huge benefit for making content creation an easier process. And when you're churning out 3 videos a week, 4 videos a week, 5 videos a week, the most important part is setting up your processes and making sure they are as smooth and as easy as possible. And getting friction in those just makes it harder, and it makes it harder to pump out good videos, and it makes you not want to do it. So I'm not saying the screen will be the downfall of creation. Obviously people use the A6300 all the time, but it's little quirks like this that really just hamper this potentially amazing camera. As we mentioned earlier, the record button's in a weird place. You'll find it right here on the side. Why is it on the side? That's a serious question. Why is it on the side? On the other side, you'll find the mini HDMI, micro USB, and the microphone in ports. On the bottom, you'll get the 1/4-inch tripod screw and the compartment for the battery and the SD card. Combine all that together with the kit lens and a battery, and it weighs 540 grams, which is really good. You may be asking yourself, Everyday Dad, if you're going to complain so much about the screen and how it's such a big deal, blah, 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 why would you even consider this camera? Well, I'm glad you asked. So there's 2 reasons, and honestly they're pretty big. 1 is image quality, 2 is autofocus. And to be fair, those are 2 gigantic things when it comes to making video. Obviously, when we want the best image possible, and we don't want the image to jump around or hunt focus while we're making videos. Autofocus and image quality, two gigantic pieces. Honestly, I'm incredibly impressed with both the camera and the kit lens. If you want a real-life example for how this camera works making videos, spoilers, I actually filmed the best budget action camera gimbal video, linked above and in the description, solely with the A6300, minus the action camera parts, of course, because it's not an action camera. But I used it for the talking head and the product B-roll, and it looks fantastic. It seriously looks amazing. Since it has a bigger sensor, the kit lens is able to do a pretty good job of isolating the gimbal from the background because it lets more light into the sensor, and the image just looks so good. Seriously, the image just looks fantastic. Filming was a breeze. I know a lot of people have complaints about rolling shutter and overheating, but I film in 1080p and I don't move around a lot with this camera. If I need to move around a lot, I use one of my action cameras. So I don't think these things would really affect me as much. So I am just incredibly impressed with how good this camera looks. And that is what pains me so much by the screen handicap. Because if this had a fully articulating screen, this would not even be a contest. The Sony would beat my Panasonic hands down because it just, I cannot overemphasize the screen, obviously, because I talk about them all the time. However, I like to bookend my videos with a so what. So should you get a Sony A6300? No. You should not get a Sony A6300 because one, if you're looking for a budget 4K camera, the Lumix G7 right now is on an incredible deal for $497 with a kit lens. Like, budget should absolutely go there. If you're looking to get into a small Sony mirrorless camera and the budget doesn't matter, you want to get into the A6500. It has things like stabilization built into it. It has the overheating problem pretty much solved. There's better things that you could do with the A6500 as opposed to the A6300. So as much as I really like this camera, I don't know that I could really recommend it to anybody. I mean, the screen is a big deal. The price is a big deal. And just, I cannot recommend the A6300. It's a fantastic camera, but I don't know that I could recommend it to somebody. Will I keep this? I don't know. To be honest, there are some serious benefits to me keeping this camera. I like all the slow motion things it can do. I like the lens selection is amazing for this. I get it, there's a lot of lenses for micro four thirds, but I really want a fast zoom lens, and there's some really great ones for this. The articulating screen is a really big deal though, and that's almost the deal breaker right there in and of itself. But I'm going to do some more tests with this. I'm going to keep trying this out a little bit longer. I still have some time before I have to make the ultimate decision, so we're going to keep trying it out. Well, hey, if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button down below. We do tech reviews every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. Well, hey, I'm the Everyday Dad, and if I can figure out anything about these cameras, because I didn't know a single thing about these cameras like 10 months ago, you can figure it out. Thanks for watching.